So we will get started on the Ozark City Council meeting for July the 14th. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. If you will stand at this time, I've asked Charlie Meeker to lead our pledge, and I'll give the invocation. So we'll pray first, and then we'll say our pledge, please. Our Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. And Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity that each and every one of us have to serve in our communities. Lord, we thank you for our servicemen and women that serve our country each and every day. And as we just celebrated Independence Day, Lord, just let us keep in mind of how blessed we really are as a nation. Lord, I just ask for families that are suffering tonight. We pray for the family from Charleston and the others that have lost loved ones that, Lord, we just don't understand why. We ask for a special blessing and prayer upon the Texas families. Lord, and just guide and direct us in each and everything we do daily. In your name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susan, if you'll roll call, please.
Meyer.
Here.
Minor. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Hyler.
Yes.
Hey, you've had an opportunity to have your minutes. Do we have any corrections? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Hyler.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yeah.
So we had our financials. Had an opportunity to go over those and discuss that later, but I need approval on what you have in your packet at this time, please.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I will second it.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yeah.
Hyler.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Next on our agenda is the department head report. Had an opportunity as well to look through those. Anyone have any questions? I think all of our department heads are here. So if you have any questions or comments for any of them, now would be the time. I do want to say this last month has been busy. We'll go into that a little more on announcements in a few minutes, but holiday weekend was not the time to be working for the Ozark Water Department, is all I'm going to say. So no comments on that. Next would be committee and commission reports. So our first one will be the fire and police, please.
We met, it was just the 3 council members and Nick that showed up. The chief was on vacation or out of town or whatever. Nick had nothing on his agenda, so we just waited around a while to make sure no public showed up. We went back home.
Okay. Those are the kind of meetings that you like sometimes. All right, Randy, street and water?
Yes. I'm going to just kind of hit on this a little bit because we're going to circle back around to it on our water department information we've got that's in our, going to be under old business. We did meet and talked about some things that we're really going to have to look at pretty hard, pretty quick. Our water system, as the mayor said, we had problems just over the holidays, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we've got and what we're looking at down the road. So we're going to hold off on going into that. We do have representatives here from Hawkins Weir, our engineering group, that are going to go over some of their issues that they've come up with. And at this time, we did have the street part of the meeting. We did discuss some projects that we're going to pave, some streets that we're going to pave before the end of the year, according to Michael. And the repairs are on Gar Creek Lane. We're looking at repairing the end of that, or recovering that, I guess. Is that right, Michael? And we're going to do Cedar Lane. And there's a drainage issue on School Street that we're looking at that we need to take care of. That's all I've got right now till we get down to the old business.
Okay. All right, next we'll be under our commission reports, and, let's see, Kelly, can you come to the podium, please? If you all haven't met Kelly Drummond, she graciously stepped up to be the, planning commissioner and one in charge, and she has hit the road running. So, and we are very grateful for her for that. So, you got the floor, ma'am.
At our last meeting, we did have everybody was there. Myself, John, Bob, and Marcia, and Mike. We have Rob Jeffers, who George Lindley does most of his stuff for him. He's not here, but we do have Mike with farm credit. So we did all vote to approve the rezoning of that from an R1 to a C2. They're gonna be building a farm credit, and he has pictures and everything that he can show. And then I didn't know, Tara's here back tonight. I guess she didn't have the proper paperwork to do that, but she has everything that she needs as well.
Yes. Okay, Mike, do you want to kind of explain to the council what you have, what you're going to do, and if you don't mind, come so the people at home can hear you as well.
Okay, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to purchase a property from Dr. Jeffers. It's an acre and a half, and we're gonna build approximately about a 2,800 square foot office building is what we're hoping to do. As far as pictures of that, I do have pictures, I can pass that around of what it's gonna look like. And I will pass that along.
Like all the rest of them?
It'll look like all the rest of them, pretty much. If it's quasi-nude, that's what it's
Where's
gonna
it
look
at?
like. It's, what we're asking is next to the new fire department, across from Whitson Morgan.
Yeah.
In between the fire department and Mr. McClellan, is where we'd like to put it. This is kind of an aerial of what it's gonna look like. I'll pass that around to you guys too. That's gonna be a little different. Instead of the kidney shape looking, we're gonna square that off. That's gonna have way too much parking from what we require for our office. So we're just gonna square that, kind of that curved shape off there. And there's the acre and a half that we're talking about, which is also on that aerial, but I can pass that around as well. And I entertain any questions you may have for me or for Farm Credit. Like I said, we're wanting to purchase that from Dr. Jeffers, but we need that obviously rezoned to commercial because that's what we're gonna use it for.
So the front door will be facing 23 Highway.
That is correct.
And is that where your entrance, I'm assuming, is coming off of 23?
Yes, we like to have the entrance coming off 23.
Okay.
And then also be able to have a loop. We have a lot of customers that have trailers and so forth
Right.
and so on, where they could make that kind of that loop and then come off the existing road by the fire station.
Come on the road to nowhere?
Yes, goes to the gate. Yes.
Nick, did you need to see this or have any questions? Okay.
But I were to entertain any more questions or comments or anything like that.
This goes through, how soon are you looking at possible construction getting started?
We were wanting to start in August. We had a little bit of a delay.
Right.
So I don't know, with Naples is gonna be our contractor to do that. So, whenever they can get it in on the schedule, I would assume still relatively quick, but definitely before the end of 2025, we would like to start. And
That's great.
I figure with Naples soon that once they start, it's a kind of a cookie cutter project for them. So I don't figure it'd be too detailed for them.
All right. Do we have any other questions for him?
Thank you.
Sir.
Thanks, Mike. Motion to read.
I'll second.
Okay.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor, yes, Harris.
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. Whereas the Ozark Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on July 3rd, 2025, in which the proposed amendment was discussed with members of the public, and whereas the public hearing was advertised in the paper of general circulation in the city of Ozark at least 15 days prior to the meeting. And whereas the city council has heard the report, and the Ozark Planning Commission had a motion to approve with the second, so the motion passed. The Ozark Planning Commission did recommend an amendment to the Ozark zoning regulations and maps that said property is owned by Robert G. Jeffers Family Limited Partnership. Now therefore be it ordained by the city council of the city of Ozark, Arkansas, section 1, that the zoning regulations and map of the city of Ozark shall be amended to reflect that the zoning of the following described property located in Ozark District, Franklin County, Arkansas, is modified AV to C2 to wit, tract 1, part of the northwest quarter of section 26, township 10 north, range 27 west, Ozark, Franklin County, Arkansas, being more particularly described as follows. Commencing at the northwest corner of said section 26, said point being marked with an existing stone, thence south 02 degrees, 54 minutes, 38 seconds west, 565.76 feet along the west line of said northwest quarter to the point of beginning, said point being marked with a half-inch rebar with cap stamped MG 1369, thence leaving said west line south 66 degrees, 13 minutes, 52 seconds west, 326.23 feet, to a set 1/2 inch rebar, the cap stamp MG 1369, thence south 38 degrees 52 minutes 24 seconds west, 306.43 feet to the point on the northeasterly right-of-way line of of Arkansas Highway 23. Said point being marked with a 1/2 inch rebar with a cap stamp MG 1369. Thence along said right-of-way line north 51 degrees 07 minutes 29 seconds west, 154.32 feet to the point on said west line of the northwest quarter, said point being marked with a set 1/2 inch rebar with a cap stamped MG 1369, thence leaving said right-of-way line and running along said west line north 02 degrees 54 minutes 38 seconds east, 273.55 feet to the point of beginning, containing 1.5 acres, more or less. Physical address to be determined on North 18th Street, Ozark, Arkansas 72949. Section 2, all ordinances, parts of ordinances, and conflicts are hereby repealed.
Need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Tyler,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yes.
An ordinance amending zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes.
Do we have any discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Melton,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yes.
Okay. Carol? Council, before she gets started, if you will remember, we had this on the agenda last month. We did not have the ordinance, but, so this is why we're doing this a month later, so go ahead.
Basically, what we're asking for is 4.11 acres that is south of where Lou Thompson is and across the street from Baldor, that's owned by Rebecca Maynor, to be zoned. We don't know when it got zoned to residential, but before it was always commercial or agri, so we're asking for it to be zoned commercial. There is a tract 2 that goes out to North 18th Street that is not included. I've got a survey here if you guys want to look at it, but basically it's this 4.11 acres, tract 2, and there'll be no access to Highway 23 through this tract 2. So they will have to use Baldor Road.
Pass that if you would.
Pardon?
He wants to see that, please.
It's tract 1.
are now?
No, Lou Thompson it's just south of
Right
that.
beside it, okay.
Yes, so we've had some commercial interest in selling it commercial, so we
Well,
were
that's-
trying to get it zoned commercial.
No, she said it does not include this.
It doesn't include the right of way to 64?
Or the 23.
It does not, that's track 2, so we're just asking for track 1, so that there would be no,
Okay.
it'll be residential on that side still.
It's not a very big spot between those two houses, is it?
Oh, no, yeah, it's a 1/10 of an acre, maybe a quarter at most, I can't remember exactly, but it's not very much.
Do you have any questions for Tara? If not, I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve,
To read.
To read.
to read.
I need a second, please.
Get it done.
I'll second it.
Melton,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor. Yes.
An ordinance amending zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. Whereas the Ozark Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on June 5th, 2025, at which a proposed amendment was discussed with members of the public. And whereas the public hearing was advertised in the paper of general circulation in the city of Ozark at least 15 days prior to the meeting. And whereas the city council has heard the report and that the Ozark Planning Commission had a motion to approve with a second, so the motion passed. The Ozark Planning Commission did recommend an amendment to the Ozark zoning and regulation and maps that said property is zoned commercial 2. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, Section 1, that zoning regulations and map of the City of Ozark shall be amended to reflect that the zoning of the following described property located in the Ozark District of Franklin County is modified from R to C2. Tract 2 width, Tract 1 description, approximately 0.09 acres of the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter, and approximately 4.02 acres of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarters in Section 35, Township 10 North, Range 27 West, in the city of Ozark and Franklin County, Arkansas, being more particularly described as follows, and as shown on this survey plat, surveyed by Cornerstone Land Surveying on 3/24/25 for Huggins Ayers, job number 25328. Commencing at southwest corner of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter, thence along the west line thereof, north 03 degrees 10 minutes, 25 seconds east, 460 feet to a set iron pin, thence continuing along said west line, north 03 degrees 10 minutes, 25 seconds east, 493.56 feet to a point, a found rebar pipe bears in 85 degrees 24 minutes, 00 seconds west, 3.7 feet from this point. Thence south 85 degrees 24 minutes 00 seconds east, 641.46 feet to a found iron pin for the true point of beginning. Thence south 85 degrees 22 minutes 56 seconds east, 447.2 feet to a found iron pin. Thence north 03 degrees 09 minutes 42 seconds east, 50.32 feet to a point. A set iron pin bears north 03 degrees 09 minutes 42 seconds east, 4.97 feet from this point. Thence north 03 degrees 09 minutes 42 seconds east, 100 feet to a found iron pipe. Thence north 03 degrees 32 minutes 59 seconds east, 247.68 feet to a found iron pipe. Thence north 85 degrees 23 minutes 05 seconds west, 452.25 feet to a found iron pin. Thence south 02 degrees 40 minutes 38 seconds west, 398.12 feet to the point of beginning, containing 4.11 acres more or less, subject to any easements or rights of way of record. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances, regulations in conflict herewith are hereby repealed.
Make a motion to read by title only.
And dispense with second.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're good.
Finish that
Hey,
sentence.
that's it, you're good. I need a second, please.
I'll second. Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes.
Any discussion? If not, I need an approval, please.
We need an emergency clause on this one.
We probably do.
What's that?
Emergency
There's
clause.
not an emergency clause.
No.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Melton.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you to the planning commission. Sorry for the delay. Sometimes we just learn every day, something new. So thank you all. I am going to ask that before we start the old business, I need to add an item to the agenda under old business. Is going to be item number C, Tracy McKenna. And this is going to be an update on our West Park grant, please. Need a motion to add that, please.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll make a second.
Meyer.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, first under old business is the water department proposal. Are you just, how do you want to do this? Just go through
Yeah, let me,
the-
we'll get started on it. Roy, are you ready also? Basically, kind of a little history on this. We've had a water study done for our city back in, I guess, finished in 2022. And Hawkins Weir went in and identified several areas that we need that needs a lot of attention. We've got lines breaking all the time. We've got low pressure problems, just several things that they have found and identified as what we need to deal with at this time. So we had a meeting back in April, May, and went over some of these. And at that time, we decided we need to move forward with this. Our costs are doing nothing but going up exponentially almost as we wait. These improvements, just the 2023 improvements, and that doesn't include everything that we're talking about tonight, was $10,933,000. Now, for 2025, it's estimated that these same projects are $15,630,000. That just gives you an idea of what we're looking at with these costs that keep going as time goes by, and our problems are not gonna get better on themselves, and we're gonna have to address them. We can't let our water system just go down. We depend on it too much, and several communities around here do, but this doesn't really affect, we're not really talking about the water treatment plant at this time. That's another subject later on. But right now, I'm gonna turn it over to Roy and let him kind of explain some of the things that we're looking at that we talked about in our last Water Street. These people from Hawkins Weir, and Roy, it's all yours.
All right. Yeah, we was talking about, some of the things we were talking about is kind of priority things were the backwash tank improvements up there, upgrading to an 18-inch east side transmission line on the east side of town. And that's one of the sections that we keep having the trouble with on Carter King Mountain, breaking, and just some pressure plane realignments and transmission line improvements on Highway 23 also are some of the main things we're looking at right now on those projects that we've identified as, the more important ones right now to us.
At this time, I'd like to introduce, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, I'm terrible with names.
I'm Josh Durham with Hawkins Weir. I'm the project manager for this project. We do have some maps and handouts. As Roy mentioned, we've broken out a couple projects. Initially, the master plan studied both the water treatment plant and a collection of recommended immediate improvements to your distribution system. You know, I think the interest from the Water and Sewer Committee was to break out some projects that we could proceed with more immediately, because the whole package is heading north towards $100 million. You know, so we've gone back at their request and evaluated kind of a lesser package that we can apply for funding separately and break out as a separate set of projects to pursue. And as Roy mentioned, the four we identified in consultation with the water department were the backwash tank improvements, which would be a second backwash tank up there on the top of the hill next to the water treatment plant. That project would allow you to take your current backwash tank out of service for inspections required by the Arkansas Department of Health and recoatings and maintenance, you know, that are required throughout the life of the project. A new 18-inch east side transmission line, which would go from Highway 23, as you can see on that map, over towards the Butterball tank, including a 3,000-foot section that we've added since our meeting with the Water and Sewer Committee to address the break issues that the Water Department is currently experiencing on that line. A new section of transmission line down Highway 23. There is a section that the Water Department previously had upgraded to a 20 based on the modeling we've done. We recommend that whole section be upgraded to a 24-inch transmission line to supply your future water demands based on our projections. And then what we're calling the 549-foot pressure plate improvements. That's a small area on the east side of town. Currently, the modeling and the data we've got collected shows that you have low pressure issues in that area, which we think can be resolved relatively inexpensively with moving that to a higher pressure plane. So it would involve some PRVs and a few valves to address those issues, and give your customers better water pressure in their homes and businesses. Based on our current cost estimate, we're currently estimating a little under $17 million in construction costs, which when you get down to final project costs, it's a little under $23 million with interim financing, contingency, engineering fees, legal expenses, and all the regulatory items. Currently we're proposing to look at funding this through USDA Rural Development as opposed to, you know, ANRD or one of the more other funding options available to you, because that would probably get you the best interest rate.
We are actually looking at other financing on this too, not taking away from what you introduced to us the other night, and looking at some other options also, just to get an idea. I know there's things that we're going to have to look at really hard in order to even apply for financing, and that's our water rate structure here. We've got to do a water study to show, you know, how we stand. We haven't got that done yet, and we're looking at getting our water department They're coming in to investigate our system, how much we're making and losing in our water department. Coming up with that and plugging those numbers in to see, you know, how we stand. We've got the 2023 report done, and we've got those figures, and they've actually plugged those in. Now they're waiting on these new ones, the figures coming in for this past year, and they're supposed to finish it up. They said probably mid to late August, we should have the figures on that. That's just another avenue we're exploring right now to see, you know, what's the best way to go. I know with the state, it's going to take a long time to get the financing based on everything jumping through the hoops, so to say. So, but we are looking at what y'all suggested, along with some different financing with some bonding company we have used before, and they treat us right. So, right now we're just in the planning stage, but I just want everybody to understand that we have got things that we are desperately looking at that we have to get done. I mean, we're getting in pretty bad shape right now. And we're talking about the Butterball line, that's blown out, 5 times in the last year?
Very close to
4 or 5 times. And it's, you can't keep having that in there.
That's two, just since Tanya there.
I've been to 4 of them.
Yeah.
So I know it's a problem, so. Anyway, that's why I brought these people here tonight. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them, because, we've looked at this. I mean, we've been looking at this since we had the water study done, and we know that we've got problems, and it's time, we're gonna have to step up and do something with it.
And there are state guidelines that we have to be in compliance with by the end of 26.
I think it's sometime in 26.
Yeah.
That water
And it
study has to
may-
be done, was it the middle of?
It has to be done by
July.
July,
Yes.
but I think by the end of 26, and we're behind, unfortunately.
I know this is no consolation now, but we do have basically some of the cheapest water rates in the state. And, we've been lucky for a lot of years to be able to have that, to be able to keep an adequate, substantial water supply like we've got. We're gonna have to do something to keep it. So, I just want everybody to know that's what we are looking at. Things don't move really quickly, but it's time to get started on them. Time for us to really look at it. So, if anybody has any questions, now's the time to bring them up.
What kind of time frame would all this take for you?
That would be a question for, depending on when we got their financing and when we got started. So I guess, based on financing, say we had financing, say like the first of the year or so, how long would it take to accomplish these main?
You're probably looking at this scale project, design's probably a year, construction 18 months to 2 years. I mean, just to get it all in the ground, depending on how many contractors you wanted to have, how many bid schedules, how many contractors simultaneously working. I mean, this is a fairly sizable line project. Financing it is gonna take a very long time. Any federal money will require an archaeological survey and environmental assessments, because we're going in new locations, so there's a lot of, it may take as much time to acquire the financing as it does to design and build the improvements.
And federal money's kind of drying up anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now's the time, if you've got any questions at all. I've dropped a lot on you in a short period of time, but it's.
Well, the slower we go, the more it's gonna cost.
Well, you can tell by that, but
You
looking.
can tell in 2 years.
Looking at
what
the
it-
estimates from,
It's not gonna get cheaper.
That's the main point of having them here tonight and bringing this up, for people to realize what we're up against, and that we are looking at trying to move forward, because we're really lucky to have the water system, the water supply we have now. But if we don't keep it going, we're not gonna have it. And these guys can't keep coming in and fixing these big leaks all the time. It's just.
Well, more pressure you put on it, the more trouble we're gonna have, so we gotta address it now.
Butterball continues to grow, they're adding more, and they're putting new chiller units on to expand their capacity down there, so, this is something we've got to look at.
We appreciate you guys coming. Thank you.
Thank
And
you
know
very
that we're
much.
gonna be-
Doesn't this need to be addressed tonight, though? The 64 highway?
Yes, it does.
Yes, we've got a contract for Hawkinsville to assist with that. We need approval to do that, and also with RDOT on the same project. They've asked for us to sign an agreement with them also.
Okay, what we're always talking about, so we've got a project on the Hicks Creek Bridge east of Ozark. I didn't know that was Hicks Creek a long time. I've lived here all my life, but anyway. We've got RDOT's going in there they're gonna redo that bridge, starting, I think, mid-2026. And our main water line going through there that goes to Altus is right there. So we have to move our water line in order for them, out of the easement, out of their way, in order for them to do their work. And we really don't have a choice. They basically told us, this is what you gotta do, and, we'll, help you recover, or we'll reimburse you with 73% of the cost of this
73.43%.
So we have to fund it up front. We'll get the 73.4% back, but we have to pay for it up front in order to get our money back. But we really don't have a choice in the matter. We have to sign these easements and agreements with RDOT so they can get it planned, so we can get started on it. So that's what Charlie's alluding to now. We do need to approve that tonight.
And we've also got the Hawkins Weir agreement for them to assist with that. That should be in your packet also.
Yep, our engineers, Hawkins and Weir, they'll be our engineers. Of course, they do our engineering here, so they will be in charge of taking care of that for us. So,
Randy, would we do this prior or during the bridge deal?
do what?
Would we do this prior to them redoing the
Yes,
bridge?
everything's gotta be done prior to them starting on the project.
We need a motion to give me the authority to enter into this contract.
I'll make a motion for what the mayor said.
I'll second it.
I just said what he said.
And I'll second.
Whatever. That's the easiest way to do it.
Tyler,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Do you wanna go ahead and authorize the project now?
I think we have.
I think you're ready, so you need a motion to authorize those expenditures
Make a motion.
Which is
that are set forth in this project.
$400,000.
I thought it was less than that.
What's this?
Estimated construction cost is $235,000. I guess that's plus engineering fees. Is that correct?
Do you know total cost?
For what, which one?
64 highway.
RDOT's got it.
Project cost.
That's-
The total project cost is $430,000, and like Roy alluded to, y'all's reimbursable percentage is around 73%. And you're not gonna be out the full $430,000 before you reimburse.
Except for upfront.
Reimburse as you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So you need to make a motion to authorize that expenditure.
And I'll make a motion to authorize that expenditure.
Have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Minor,
Yeah. Which one did you say?
Minor, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Meyer,
Yeah.
okay, Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
So that should
Done and
give
done.
us on that. Anything else?
Yes, ma'am. There was one other project that we have talked about was, valve improvements for Hellberg and the Butterball East Tank valve. Those we were looking at, not financing, just the discussion was that we thought we could handle this one, and it's estimated at $235,000 for those improvements for the vaults for Butterball in the East Tank and also at the Hellberg
At the Hillbert,
vault.
okay.
That will possibly relieve some of the line breakage currently.
I don't know if it would do that, but it would, we have a lot of trouble, which it's eased up lately, with those valves and the tank filling and shutting off when it's supposed to, or even coming on to fill up when it's supposed to. You guys have anything on those valves that you wanna add?
No, that's correct, yeah. The Hellberg vault, it has two PRV control valves in it. One serves the west side of your system, one serves the east side in Butterball. And then the second vault is on the Butterball tank side to fill, help both the Butterball and east tank cycle and fill correctly. I think one of those is currently out of service right now, and then I think you had issues under the Hellberg vault previously.
Yes, up there at the Butterball East Tank, we're down to one valve right now, operating both.
And engineering on this one's already been approved. Those plans are into the health department. We expect approval any day for those plans and specs.
expenditure.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure.
$235,000.
$235.
Plus or minus.
The estimate.
I need a second.
Second.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Hyler.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Got it?
That's
Okay.
it.
Get to work.
Thank you.
Sign those checks. Okay, next under old business is I forwarded you this email back last week on the EEG report on the Kimbrough building. Tim, if you would like to step forward, please. So as you see in that report, there was no asbestos, and that is what at the last time you all had asked them, before we move forward, was to do the asbestos report.
I just want to say something before we speak. I want to commend Mr. Morrow on reading all those legals.
I've been 40 years, so I'm pretty quick at it.
It's like, oh my God, you didn't miss a beat.
All right, well, Jan and I are here on the Kimbrough building for the public safety of the problems in the alley. And as the mayor said, we did have a report done where they sampled for asbestos, and none of it met the abatement threshold. So they did find, just a tiny, like micron of asbestos in there, so that's pretty lucky.
And they did get to go up into the top floor and everything.
Yep, and we gave them the plan so they could make markings on it like you see there. And guess we could, the next step would be to talk about maybe moving forward with the construction if you want to do that, or. And we'd given you a proposal on that of $97,600 to get a roof on and get the back end closed up.
Tim, say that figure one more time.
$97,600.
Yeah, I think y'all got it last time.
Open up the floor to the council for discussion.
What have we spent so far roughly on this building, Roxy? A building we don't own.
Do you know, I wanna say around 17,000? Cause we spent 12 on the asbestos. You know what we wrote that check for last week?
1,200.
1200.
1,200, yeah.
Their initial deal was about 15,000.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that because we didn't charge something, but yeah.
Okay.
So you spent about that, and what was your other question?
What we've spent so far on this building that we don't own
About 16,000.
since all this started, Roxy?
I don't know what you spent.
No, we haven't spent anything before it. I mean, just,
I'm having problems spending a lot of money on a building that the city does not own.
I agree.
And even if we got it, it's not worth what it's gonna cost to fix it.
But you also can't leave a public hazard we got there now.
it is
Well, I
a
know.
very big
That-
hazard.
yeah. But is it,
I disagree with that. I do think that it is worth that. Because I think as far as the historic value, and I'm not trying to be a salesman here, because we're not, trust me, we're not making any money on this either, but it really helps your downtown to have
well,
that building.
for it to be
The
gone
integrity.
wouldn't be good. No, I agree with
And
you on
so
that.
I don't know how else to make it safe. We've studied it and studied it and,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
It needs to be, it either needs to be safer and it needs to be gone, but if we try to make it gone, then we're gonna jeopardize the building next
That's
to
what I'm
it and
worried
the
about, so
building next to
worried about.
that, and it's a domino's
I
gonna be.
mean, we've had
something.
engineers on it, you know, a lot of it's been volunteer time, so I don't know how.
I know we don't wanna spend money on something we don't own, but what other choice do we have?
Kevin?
Are we,
And, of course, you're gonna have a lien on the property. I will tell the council this, I've had a conversation with a local attorney who has been contacted by some of the family members who own a lesser interest in that property, who are interested in just simply conveying it to the city. Now, the last holdout is Mr. Kimbrough from Fort Smith, who hasn't responded to anything I've ever sent him, or the city's ever sent him, or anything else, as far as I
I
know.
left a note on his property door and no response.
And, anyway, he is by far and away the majority. I think it is, I think it's well, it's over, it's close to two-thirds or 3/4% interest that he owns.
So, but does he have an office or? No.
can we just put a lien, I mean, can we go ahead and put the
We
lien on it?
can put the lien on it.
Right now, for what we've got so
For what
far.
we've got in it, we would have to file a report with the court and ask for the lien, but if we're gonna put more in it, we're not gonna be able to double and triple dip. We need to ask for our lien at the time that it's complete, when we're done. And of course, it's been 2 or 3 years since that order's been entered.
So I have a question. When we had that issue with a property on Austin Street, I know it's not the same, but we go into court, the judge really put his thumb down on her, gave her 7 days to get this cleaned up, 30 days to get it sold.
Did that ever work out?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, she
I never
has
knew
got,
that
it
happened.
does, sorry. Can we not get that judge to do something with this building? I mean, he was mortified that she's been dealing with this since 2017.
Well, first, she came to court to fuss about it.
Well,
And-
just because he's a
And none of these other
Kimbrough-
people have come to court to fuss about it, to be fussed at. So the judge didn't have the opportunity to do that with them, with these owners, because they
Right.
didn't come to
They
court.
didn't come to court.
And if you guys.
And they were not apparently not interested in participating at all in this, whereas she was interested.
Okay.
So you've got a different defendant with a different cause.
And
But
if
how long
you
does-
guys own the building, if the city owns the building, you will be able to use that building. Because after this is
Right.
done, you'll be able to use it for something.
Yeah, but
But the city doesn't own the building.
what's it gonna take for us to get ownership of this
Yeah,
building, Kevin?
to answer his,
What's it gonna take for us to get ownership?
Well, after whatever work we complete and we file our lien, we will ask to foreclose that lien and the property will be sold. At that point, we can bid our lien amount on the
You would
building
have to
and
bring
thereby
that amount.
possibly acquire it.
So we'd have to spend double the money that we already wanna put into it, really to buy
We
it.
would only,
No, we would
well,
not.
no, we would bid the amount of our lien. We'd get credit for whatever amount we bid, up to the amount of our lien. So we
We
would
could
have spent the
possibly own it
money on the repairs, and we could bid up to that much and not have to pay anything more.
so if you put $100,000 in it, and when he puts the lien, those people either have to pay you the $100,000 or
Convey the building.
convey the building. And probably they will convey the building.
Or have the building sold and the proceeds
That's true.
used to
Go
pay.
back to,
And that would help too.
I just don't want us to spend the money on it and not be able to get our money back.
After watching the last 2 auctions downtown, I don't think we would have trouble getting our money back.
No.
It was fast.
I mean, I redid a building downtown Altus. I got it for, I think, $11,000. But I'm not gonna say how much I put in, but I didn't put a whole lot, and I sold it for 60.
mean, I agree with everyone else. It's hard to say spend $100,000 on a building we don't own, but the only true move forward is to spend the money so that you can foreclose on your lien and try to get your money back.
And try to get your money back that way.
I mean, otherwise it just sits where it is.
Yeah.
And it's
My
gonna
only
get
issue
worse.
is this is drug out for 8 years
And
already.
there's no way to force them to,
Well,
For
they've been
them?
ordered to remediate or else,
but they still don't do
and they
it.
haven't done it, so now we're to the point where the
So is the
court
city
has
liable?
authorized us to enter in and remediate it ourselves.
Is
Now
the
we're at
city
Wells.
liable now?
No, because we don't own the property,
And what was
and the
your-
city's immune.
So you were talking about 8 years, say that again?
This has been going on for what, 8 years, Roxy, almost?
No, first started in 2015, 14.
So 11 years.
Mhm. It's been vacant.
Well, that's
for-
been, I've had it tied up in court since right after I started.
Yes,
January of 2019.
because the first brick fell, March the 28th of 2019.
So is it better for us to push our lien now to acquire ownership of the building, or do we invest the money and?
Well, you gotta invest the
Invest
money
the
to
money.
acquire the building. You gotta create the expenditure to have a lien.
Nick, did you say 50 years?
Yes.
Wow.
I remember my dad bought me a doll there.
I mean, that has been one of our biggest eyesores, and
I talked to a lady the other day, they said they had leased a space, I don't know, around there or something, she said, we moved because of that. It was at a chamber meeting the other day. It's,
What kind of time frame would we be looking at if the city decides to invest this money?
we can probably go get the, construction documents done, and then we get it built in, what, 3 months?
I think so.
How long would it take to go through the court system, though, to be able to?
Well, once the expenditure is made,
You can immediately.
and we know how much it is, I can file whatever's necessary with the court and upload the order. There's no answers filed, the court should approve it without a hearing, but he may require a hearing. If he does, it may take a month or 2.
Oh, Nick has.
If they don't have any response, though.
The court can just enter an order once I file my report and request.
So they wouldn't have any way to stop this, the owners
No.
now?
No, because the
That's
court's
what
already
worries me.
given us the authority to enter
yeah.
and remediate.
I just wanna say, there's no back wall on the bookstore, there's no roof on the bookstore. Bookstore is probably the single biggest fire hazard we have in town. You drop $100,000 on that, and then the next night the bookstore catches on fire, that building's burning down.
Well, we're working on the bookstore too. I've got a file open on it, so.
I couldn't see doing that until you figure out what you're gonna do with the bookstore, because
Well, and then we
I think you're
might go to the next one and not do it before we do it. I mean, where do you gotta start somewhere, Nick.
$100,000 in one bookstore.
Or we could have a nice park on the north side of the square.
Tornado would cure a lot of problems.
Randy,
Okay.
Charlie.
But say, if a city, we've been dealing with this for however many years it is, and basically it's been falling down, we've been taking a chance of somebody getting hurt or killed there for how long? So we go in there and just tear it down, what liability would we have then? We're basically trying to save the citizens of this city from getting hurt there.
Well, we don't have any liability. The court has authorized us to go in and act. Now, we have reported to the court that we wanna save the building. If that changes, we probably need to report that to the court and get an order setting aside the prior order and authorizing demolition, which the court would do.
We need to have some engineering.
But at this point, the object was always to try to save the building, to save the square. That's at least that's my guidance from the beginning.
If we tore it down, it would jeopardize the next building, correct?
Well, the next building's in jeopardy anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Or so they start falling in,
Yeah.
it may like we're just getting rid of a bunch of problems downtown, which, that's the old bookstore, it's terrible. It's a,
Several years back, we had the man from Mountain Berg come down, and he'd done some concrete work on
didn't last.
Oh, that bookstore.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have support, I mean.
Well, you gotta keep the water out of it.
Yeah.
And he didn't keep the water out of it, so it filled back up and deteriorated.
This, yeah, it'll be a nice structure if you do this. And then I'd love to see bookstore done too, I would. But, is there any way that you could, when you do, you've already started the process with the bookstore, is there any way that we could clean it out?
Is
Maybe
what?
take
Clean it out.
the books and fuel
The
out of
bookstore?
it.
We don't have authority to enter at this point.
Okay.
We hadn't got to the point of filing suit yet.
Okay.
Well, since it's a fire hazard, is there a way to,
Sure, Nick can
Move
go
that.
post a, I mean, there is an ordinance setting forth a procedure where you don't have to go through court. The reason we go through court is because the municipal league says you're far better off having a court order saying to go do this
I agree.
right,
than you are having done it administratively, because then it's always subject to question, and if it's a court order and they've got notice, there's no question. And so, that's the way we've operated at this point, but Nick could go down there at any time pursuant to that ordinance and post his notice and send it to the owner that's on the record at the tax assessor's office and follow the procedures that way.
cause I'd hate to put a bunch of money in that building with the bookstore staying like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well, if we're gonna rebuild the square, hell, let's rebuild the square. Or
Well,
tear it all down.
But, okay, that's gonna take a while, what he's talking about. So if you go ahead and get this done, you have to save the building.
But we got a safe building right next to a fire. And it's like
Well-
just not very far from being a fire. And it would be a hot one. It wouldn't, I mean, there's, the back end of it's open, you can, I mean,
No.
it's just a, and the inside is full of
The bookstore is not.
combustible
Fuel.
material. So you're gonna build something,
We looked at it. We
spend a
probably-
bunch of money right beside it, is, I mean, that's not good stewards for us.
Well, okay, right now, right today, I think you have the right to get that other building safe. Right now, right today, you don't have the right to get the bookstore safe.
Right, but if we fix the good
Well, but
building.
if you put the notice on and
it's
give it,
It's a crapshoot.
7 days later, you've got the right to enter and remediate
If we get,
We've had
by hauling the stuff out.
they had a bid, when somebody, a couple of years ago, there was a bid, local contractor give a bid on cleaning it out, and his bid was, it's either 30 or 40,000 to clean it out. Because I don't think, if you've been in there, you don't understand what it looks like.
oh, I've
No.
been in there, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, you would have to have
I couldn't imagine,
hazmat.
I couldn't imagine
No.
that like being a restaurant or something another, and waiting in line to get out there with that. I'm not trying to naysay devil's advocate, but, and that bookstore's bad.
Y'all, it is horrible.
It's terrible, yeah. But
Have
it
any of
needs to
you
be,
council members walked back in there, behind it?
I've been in
I'm going
it,
to
it's hot.
encourage you tomorrow to go look in that.
Yeah.
Go in that back door, you open that door, I can promise you, I don't care how tough you all think you are, you're not gonna go in, but about 4 steps in, are they?
Is it like rats
Well,
and
what about
cats
this
and?
then?
Rats, he was that long that ran away from me.
Well, see, you scared him, now you're messing with the neighbors.
If we take care of the building, like I think it should be, and you spend $30,000, which the city does to get that building cleaned out, that's pretty good.
Of course,
Yeah.
there's not any utilities on in that building, is there?
There's power going to the
Is there?
building, but the meter's, open.
So it's not metered right now, it's not, there's no energy inside.
Not inside, it's to the meter, you can call and pay the electric bill to turn it on, I know.
Well, I mean, if it's not inside, it's probably not gonna burn. There's not as big a chance of it burning as if there were live wires inside. Right now, there's no live wires inside.
Right.
What would combust it?
I don't know, there's probably somebody living in there, I have back doors open on it.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
a
secure
woman.
it. How hard is it to go get a lock and secure it?
Kevin, there's no
Cigarette.
wall on the back of the building, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be rude, but there's no wall,
Yeah.
there is no wall.
On the bookstore?
He's talking about.
Yeah, the bookstore, the back of the bookstore is wide open. I mean, it's not just the door.
There's not a wall on either side of the door.
Yeah.
You just draw.
Sorry, didn't know. Yeah, I hadn't seen it.
No, it's,
I mean, it's bad, folks. I don't.
Well, I think we need to, first off, is get that bookstore condemned or whatever we gotta do. And if, at least both them projects will be holding hands. We're not gonna, build something nice and then have the next door burn it down.
Spending a lot of money on that.
yeah. And we're not through.
And it's gonna, the wall that's connected where there's no wall, that's, the odds of being able to straighten up that back wall without some of that coming down is gonna be tough too. From an
And of
engineering
course,
standpoint.
that roof is tied into the wall that we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
the floor ties
No,
into
this
the,
goes between the sidewalls.
the floor for that upstairs ties right into the wall that goes to the
On
bookstore.
the other side.
But they share a
I thought
wall.
you were saying the roof was,
Yeah, the bookstore shares a wall and that ties all
And of course,
together.
once you remove what roof is there,
Well, when they
that's
try
gonna be
to
exposed.
they're gonna
and it's
try to
be-
do
so
that.
You're gonna have to seal it somehow.
Oh, yeah, but
well,
if
you
we
take it
don't,
down.
if we're not in control of that, I mean, we gotta, that whole section is a danger.
Rotten.
Right, it's a danger, and then if we can't, I mean, if the bookstore would disappear overnight, then the other building would be great to fix. But with the bookstore attached to it, it's just you're gonna,
are you saying that when we put the roof on, if you don't do the bookstore, are you saying if we put the roof on the Kimbrough building, it's gonna mess up the roof?
no, it's good,
Bookstore?
that wall, during the
Because
process of putting that new back wall in, there's a chance that adjoining wall is not gonna be stable. It's gonna be a problem.
But we're willing to take that, I don't understand, we had a structural engineer. we
Right,
had
but
all
we're
that.
still putting brand new doors on an old car that doesn't have any tires. The building next to it could burn the whole thing down, and working on the building next to it could interfere with
Well, why
that
don't you
building.
just clean out the bookstore then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we need to start with getting control
Why
of
can't
the
it be done
bookstore.
simultaneously?
If we get control of the bookstore, but we gotta go through whatever
Well, it
legal
sounds like to
channels.
me, all he has to do is put a sign on there and then.
No, we gotta put,
And you gotta send the notice to the mayor.
we gotta send a notice, I mean,
I think
yeah,
if we're gonna do
I'm
that,
with
it's
you, we
gonna
need to
go
get
to
it
court.
done.
How long is that process, Mr. Barn, for him to put a sign?
Well, if he
According to the ordinance, once it is identified as a place in violation, a notice shall be given, and I don't know, it's either 7 or 10 days, Devin, you wrote that.
7.
7 days to remediate, and if they don't remediate, then I think the city is authorized to go in and remediate under the ordinance.
So only 7 days, 7 to 10 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
So,
still,
why can't we do it simultaneously?
that's, if we can
Well, we
start
can-
that process.
But the process has started for you to take it to court, correct?
Well, it
I
has
would
been
rather do
referred
that.
to me, and we are in the process of running title, and, which is a never-ending thing here.
But if Nick
we have
needs
one
to go
title
down
company.
and declare it,
Let me see if I can help.
then let's see what, get the ball
I
started.
haven't ordered it, because I've got 3 other orders I'm still waiting on.
Cause I mean, that's as bad a problem with the bookstore, is just as bad a problem as the bricks falling off the other building.
We're not getting it.
No, we're not.
Bricks fell off the bookstore a number of years ago.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's the danger part of it.
I'm gonna
is
throw it out
pretty
there, and
much-
I don't, you all may fail it, but I'm gonna put a motion out there, let's go ahead and repair the first building, Kimbrough building, for $97,000.
Motion, and authorize the expenditures,
Yep, and authorize the expenditure.
or authorize the bidding and contract. Okay.
All right, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? To move forward with the Kimbrough building and the expenditures.
Looks like it will.
I did too.
The Kimbrough building is reminding me of the fireworks, of the bottle rockets that we spent years on. Maybe not as much. Tracy, would you come to the podium, please? I've asked Tracy to be here tonight. As you know, we have been awarded a grant for the West Side Park. Hands change, we all know how that happens in Little Rock, and it has now, Tracy has since found out that, when we were awarded this, we were not gonna have to use an engineer. Well, mine and her conversation last week, and then she came down and graciously met with me and Brooke and Michael, so I'm gonna let her take the floor from here.
Hi.
This is Tracy McKenna.
Yes, with Western Arkansas Planning and Development District. So when the city applied for this grant in 2023, what the guidelines of the grant stated, and this actually is still in fact what they state now for this current cycle, was that communities that certified that they were going to use a licensed professional received extra points in the scoring criteria. So that actually got Ozark extra points that helped them get awarded. So what the certification said, based on the guidelines, was that Ozark would use a licensed professional to include an engineer, an architect, a licensed contractor, a licensed plumber, a licensed professional. So that's what I had the mayor sign off on to certify that. So we had taken that to mean that we could use a licensed plumber for the restroom part of the project. We were going to use the playground vendor is also licensed to perform the work that they were going to do. And we were not going to have an architect or an engineer draw up the plans, because they're very simple. So that's how we had been working to proceed. So we did, it did take a little bit of time to get some drawings up from the gentleman that the city has used in the past. He had previously done the pavilion at West Side, as well as other improvements there, and also that last project included improvements at East Side. So the mayor and I did not think that there was going to be any issues getting those same kind of plans approved by the state. So early 2024, they got a new director at the Outdoor Recreation Grant Program. They have like one remaining project officer there. Those two gentlemen now interpret that very differently. And so I have two projects that were funded in 2023 that I have since been told, no, you're gonna have to have a licensed design professional is what they are telling me. And so I just printed off, this is what I sent Roxy, the actual project management guide for these grants still just states strongly, what does this one say? Strongly recommends design professional. Today I looked up the frequently asked questions. It says, what was that? Is an engineer architect required for a grant project? An engineer architect or other approved licensed design professional is required for all Fun Park and Great Strides projects and is strongly encouraged for the matching grant projects. So I just wanted to come and kind of lay out what I think the options might be. Obviously, these documents don't say required. I think there is an opportunity for Ozark to push back on the funding agency if you so choose. I had just let the mayor know that that wasn't really a fight that I could take charge of, because I represent 41 other cities and towns in our district, and so I'm already not on their good list right now, so I'm trying to, kind of keep a level playing field for all of my communities, but that I would support the city if they, so chose to push back. If they do continue to push that you would have to have a engineer design these plans, you're looking at that additional cost, probably $15,000 to $20,000 to have an engineer draw up the restroom plans. And honestly, the end result would be the same. Like, you would pay that money to have an engineer draw something up and still have the local gentleman that I believe has kind of agreed to do some of that work, do the work. So it does feel like an unnecessary requirement. So the way the outdoor recreation grant program works is that you don't actually sign a contract with the state until after they approve your plans. So I do feel like the city does still have the opportunity to just walk away from this grant if you so choose. So those are kind of what I think the options are.
Will that increased cost be offset any by the state whatsoever, or is it just 20,000 more we're gonna have to?
It would, you could
addition to?
no, it could still be, it could be included
Part
in
of
your
our
grant.
matching?
Yeah, it would still be, yeah, you could get 50, the grant is 50/50, so whatever you spend, you would get 50% back. So there, you know, it would be
half of that.
included in that, so.
Michael, would you please come forward and kind of tell them what we found out about the bathroom concession stand area?
So last week, after our meeting, I met with 2 contractors down at the park. For plumbing and construction of a complete building. This is take the current concession stand back down to concrete, rebuild it. Those figures came back at around right at 35,000. That is less than what we were going to spend going the other route for just a bathroom remodel. Our part of that grant was matching, our part was 80, is that correct, 80,000?
Yes, 80 was what it was awarded, so 160.
So, we're looking at, with a complete new building, we'd still have 40,000, close to 40,000 for playground equipment. Now with the grant, it did include a pavilion. But if it cost us 15 to 20,000 for engineering cost, that takes out our pavilion anyway. So I look at it as we can have a complete building plus the playground for the 80,000 if we back out of the grant. If we keep the grant, we're gonna get a bathroom remodel. Still have the concession stand that's gonna need to be remodeled, and no pavilion. So either way, we're kinda losing the pavilion at this time. We get a whole new building.
Is the playground outfit, they're, what they would, they don't have the ability to do the design for the whole thing? I mean, if that's what they do all the time, surely they've done.
The playground, like a vendor for the playground?
Yeah.
Yes, like, but we have to, show ADA accessibility and any sidewalks and all of that, and that typically seems to be part of the hang-up with the gentleman who is now running the agency. Is that they,
So you thinking, Michael, just to do it ourselves? Come on, just
Put me on the spot.
Can we cut everything out but the playground? And just do the playground off the grant?
so initially what the city had applied for, was about 300,000, so they had cut our award, drastically. So we had also actually included in the application was the city's top priority, with the application was actually a splash pad, increasing the splash pad, and then we had playground, and then we probably had, the restrooms listed and the playground. So when the state cut our award, they had identified the restrooms as what the committee, at the state level wanted to fund. Yeah, because they're currently not ADA accessible, so I think the state saw that as a higher priority or a bigger need than adding more facilities, was to get adequate restrooms before the city did anything else. So, I mean, they had actually cut the award, pretty substantially, so.
So can the city then modify the plans that were previously submitted when we requested 300 to knock it back to the 80,000 or so plus our match?
I mean, that's
So
essentially
that we only do the restrooms and get half of it paid for, and then we can do whatever we want to with our own money.
Yes, but the restrooms are what would require the engineer, the
Right.
engineering permit, yeah. So
Well,
you
that makes
could.
sense.
And it would be just the restrooms.
Restrooms should require property
And
engineering.
Not the concession.
Yeah.
not the concessions.
Just do the restrooms, and that would
Yeah.
cut the engineering, the cost for that. Just get them to figure the bathrooms and.
But he's saying he could do the
What
concession
Michael's
and the
saying is you
bathroom
get more bang
for
for your
cheaper.
buck.
Yeah, you get
Yes.
more,
Not
yeah.
using an engineer.
Not
Right.
using
Yeah,
an
we do
engineer.
it with engineer, if we spend our money where it needs to be spent.
Well,
Cheaper than our
and if
neighbor.
you've been in that concession stand, it's horrible. And if you redo those bathrooms in a year and a half, you're gonna have to come back in and redo that concession stand.
Right.
So as Michael visited with them and he called me, you can get the whole thing completely redone.
For less money.
And be
Yes.
ADA compliant and everything.
Yes,
And not
yes.
mess with the grant
And not mess with the grant. And then hopefully next year, we could put in for the budget to do a pavilion. Because we came out, Brooke, what was it that you looked at on the playground equipment? They had allowed us 45,000?
Yeah, cause, 10,000 of it was install,
Right.
so.
And so Brooke and Michael have gone on, found playground equipment that is still cheaper. And the only thing that we're gonna not have would be the pavilion.
So for us to buy everything directly ourselves would come out cheaper.
And better, you get a brand new
Right. get a new
concession stand and
stand.
bathroom.
I feel that's our better way to go.
The only thing we're not getting is the pavilion, like I want to do.
Well, we weren't getting the
But
pavilion.
either way, I mean, the way I'm looking at it is if it cost us 15 to 20 estimates on an engineering cost for this project, our pavilion cost was 20, I believe right at 23,000. So that cost is gonna eat up our pavilion anyway. So I'm looking at it like we already lost our pavilion if we get an engineer.
And as we all know, engineers drive cost up.
Yes.
And if we do it with that, just do it on our own and then, reapply for another one that would do the.
We apply for another grant with our bathrooms
Next year, we
already.
budget in a pavilion
Yeah.
and do it ourselves.
So do we just reject the grant? Is that the process?
Tracy, how do we do that? Do we have to just call them? Do I email them? How do we do that? If we choose to forego the grant? I think you could start with just calling and then he would probably request something in writing. Okay. And there have been other instances where communities have rejected a grant as well, so. And that's not going to be a black mark against us when we apply again? No, shouldn't be. Okay. So what's the wishes of the council? Need it in a form of a motion.
I think we ought to fund it ourselves.
I guess we should reject the grant and do it ourselves.
So motion to forego the grant
I'll make that motion to forego the grant
and
and fund the
we
playground
have the
Grant
80,
funding.
yes, and spend the money that we had.
and spend the
With the money we had
allotted for that,
appropriated for.
for a new concession stand and bathrooms and
And
playground equipment.
playground equipment. Okay, we do have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Minor,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Tracy, thank you for your time tonight. I greatly appreciate it. And
I
if-
will,
ma'am, appreciate it. Under new business, we have the resolution 2025-4, and these are the items that we had discussed in our budget meeting last Monday night. So I need a motion to read, please.
I will make a motion to read.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Artis made the motion and Summer seconded.
Meyer,
Yeah.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Amending the 2025 Budget for the City of Ozark, Arkansas." Section 1, the Street Department budget for 2025 equipment maintenance line item is hereby increased $3,000. Part-time help line item is hereby increased $5,000. Section 2, the General Fund budget for 2025, a line item is hereby created for a new retirement and is funded in the sum of $45,000. Line item is hereby created for the Ozark Food Pantry Building Insurance and is funded in the amount of $2,000. Line item for the Ozark Police Department LOPFI retirement is hereby increased $70,000. Line item for the Ozark Police Department Animal Control is hereby increased $6,000. Line item for the Ozark Police Department Clothing Allowance is hereby increased $3,000 for a total of $9,500. Line item for Planning and Zoning Commission publication expense is hereby created and funded. That should not be that high, is it? We talked about
It's not.
15,000 as the amount for
The
the
cards.
cards.
We've got a sentence missing
Yep.
because the planning commission
Okay,
was
how much
supposed to
was
be
It was $350.
$350
All right, so if
increase.
you'll amend that 15,000 that's written to $350. And then section 3, anticipated revenue, city general fund receipts for transfer station rental is hereby decreased $20,000.
Yes, that's right. Because we had it
And
at a
what was the 15,000 appropriated to?
I think that was just a typo.
Okay. And then section 4, community center fund contract labor is hereby increased $2,500, providing the contract labor for class instructors shall be raised from 25 to 35 per class.
Do we have any discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve with the changes that were corrections.
I will second that.
That's where the sentence is.
Yep. No, whenever you typed it.
Okay, yep. You left out the Kimball building, that's what that 15,000 was. I think you're still-
that's the Kimball building.
Yes.
Go up on it because of the.
Yes. So how do we do that?
Well, we'll add a sentence by motion and amendment to section 2. General fund. Kimbrough building remediation
Is the 15,000.
is hereby created. And funded in the amount of 15,000. There you go. What? No, I did not. Let's look at what I sent you. I don't know that there was anything on the fire department.
No, we need to do this bit. We just talked about that too. We just talked about that.
I didn't make it in there. We'll have to do it next month or.
Okay, before we approve this resolution, can we add that to that in there?
Yep.
Okay.
What are we gonna add? How much?
Well, the other night, when we were discussing about looking for a grant for the vest,
Oh,
we looked at those. There are no grants that you don't do, can't just apply for a grant mid-year, okay? And I'm going to ask the council that you reconsider And let's add in the $7,500 for him to get the 5 vests for his crew. And then he is looking, Brooke is still looking, Devin has volunteered to help look, but, I'm just gonna say, with things that have happened and the things that are going on, I cannot in my right mind let that go. And so I'm going to ask that you all reconsider that and let Nick order, the 5 vests, for the first responders. And we can add this in here because we've got to amend that anyway.
I think we should do it, because I thought we were already going to anyway. It was mentioned about the grants, but we didn't know that for sure, so
Yeah.
it was,
I thought it was already gonna be in there.
yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to amend resolution 2025-4 to include $7,500 for,
And the amendment regarding the Kimbrough building.
Yes.
and that and the vest
Yes,
for $7,500.
75 for that.
15,000 for the Kimbrough building.
Right,
I will second that motion.
thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Hyler.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Milton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yeah.
And that is all under,
That'll be in section 5.
okay.
You write as fast as you talk.
Nobody can read it but me.
Okay, we have no other new business.
Don't
We
we
have,
still have to read
We gotta
this?
oh,
Pass this now that we've all,
All that
as
we-
amended.
okay,
So
sorry.
motion to approve as amended.
As amended.
I will make a motion to approve as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Meyer.
Yeah.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Milton.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Hyler.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that it?
No.
Okay.
Now on with you.
All right.
Did we take care of the fees for the commission, planning commission?
It
fees?
is, it's right here, that's where we had messed up, the
Okay,
planning
okay.
commission, it was supposed to have been the 350,
All right.
yes. And we're gonna start that
Sure.
when the next one comes in. All right, have a few announcements here. We had a great show and event on July the 3rd at West Park. The fireworks were absolutely fabulous. Thanks to A&P and the city for the sponsorship, and to the Ozark Chamber for the activities and the band. Just a reminder, we had several people still not happy with the location, but be due to state regulations is the reason that we cannot put those fireworks where we have been having those in the past. There was a crew out of Little Rock that has been working on the river bridge this past week. They're working also on the timing of the stoplight. They are trying to get all this work done before school starts back. That has nothing to do with our local highway department. It is a crew out of Little Rock. I know they had some backups last week. There was some issues, but know that they're just trying to do their job. I want to thank the Ozark Water Department, Jack Wells and his crew, and Michael Brasso for their excellent work on the July 4th holiday weekend. On Friday, they spent over 6 hours on a leak that affected Ozark South. 6 hours Sunday on Spring Street. These were 2 major breaks within 48 hours. Roy has come up with a fabulous idea because the last 3 holidays, the guys get called out every day, every morning for a break. So what they're gonna do on the next holiday, they're gonna come in and stay here till about 9 o'clock and then go home. So I thought he had a great idea with that, but, they worked diligently there. I did go on site. I know Randy did as well. You know, they go above and beyond, and we appreciate that. Just a reminder that Highway 219, 3rd Street, as we all refer to it, is on the list to be resurfaced. We are very well aware that it's bad, but just be thankful that it is on a list. They're saying possibly 26, but if you'll remember, that's what happened to us out here on 64 Highway. We were put on hold for 4 years, but at least it got done. With all the rain that we have been blessed with the past few months, I have to commend the street department for doing a fantastic job in Highland Cemetery, and it does look nice. Cemeteries are hard to mow. I know this firsthand because when I was a teenager, I mowed Houston Cemetery in Altus.
So did I.
Yeah, they're hard, let me tell you. And I'm just asking that people please keep this in mind when you're placing flowers on the grave. We are thankful to the crew for the trash cans, that they all got painted, and as of Thursday, all the benches have been purchased. Our back to school bash is August the 16th from 12 to 5. We're encouraging everyone to bring their kids out. Nick's going to bring the fire truck, Dave's backhoe, Ken's towing, the police department, Drummond's trucking, Precision Rat Hole, Mastermade, and JLW are going to be bringing a truck. So we're gonna do a touch of truck back to school bash all at the same time. Webb City Baptist Church has also reached out to Brooke, and they're gonna be helping with this. We were wanting to help with school supplies somehow, and Brooke is trying to get like paper, pencils, crayons, the basics. And I wanna tell you that Ken's Towing has offered to pay for the school supplies that we do get that day, so we're very grateful for that. We have 3 Wednesdays left that are $2 days for at the community center. I can tell you she has been busy there this summer, so we're very grateful for that. Currently, we have 217 licensed businesses in the city of Ozark. 18 of those have opened since January 2nd of this year. So, and hopefully we're gonna have a few more new ones, so I'd be grateful for that. So if nothing else, I would entertain a motion.
I have one thing, Roxy.
Okay.
On Saturday night was our first summer concert series, and I know some of you were there. We were there, and it went off great. There was over 200 people there. They were going around counting, and that was the last I heard. I did leave when it started raining. I'm a fair weather fan. But they did continue to play music, I was told, even when the light sprinkles were going on, because the band was covered on the new stage, and it went off great. Did you guys think so, that you did go?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice.
It went
There was
very-
a lot of people. Everybody was having a great time. Kids were everywhere. They were all having a great time, so it was very well received, and I think it's only gonna get bigger and better, so.
And the next one is
August
the
9th. Yes, August the 9th will bring a lot of people to town. That band has a huge following.
And that band is who?
Arkansas. They're very
Oh, I
popular.
love them.
Oh, there you go,
They are
Kevin.
awesome.
You better be there August 9th. Put it
I
on your
will be.
calendar. Yeah, it was great. It's free. Everything was free. There was tons of food.
That was
Everybody was.
expensive, too.
Everybody was talking about how good the food was. There were some food trucks I'd never seen before. So that was awesome to have some new people in town. So.
One of those boys is from Clarksville.
Really, I didn't know that.
And one other thing, I do want to say, get well wishes to our Pride and Beautification leader, Ms. Teresa White. She's been out and been missed, but hopefully, is she doing better? Good. Good deal. Tell her we miss her. All right, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second. Meyer,
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.